Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to come on and share with you all about the first quarter we're entering into. And we're entering into April, and lately God has been ministering to me about the God shift that took place at the beginning of the year. We experienced a God shift in the earth. I experienced it in my home, and it was heavy. And I talk about it in a video that I did in January about the shift that happened and how I knew it was midnight because I could feel the shift in the atmosphere of my home, and I ran to go find my clock to see what time it was, and it was 12 a.m. And let me tell you, it was just something miraculous in the atmosphere. I was soaking in it for days, because 2024 was a very difficult year. It was a year of a lot of warfare and battle, pretty much starting the beginning of the year. And a lot of these things were, God would reveal to me things that were happening in the spirit realm. A lot of times he would reveal a lot of it to me in dreams, okay? And so I had the opportunity to partner with God and to go into the spirit realm and counsel things that were contrary to the will of God for my life. But the whole year, 2024, was a very unusual year for me. It's a year of battle and warfare. But I remember at the end of 2024, I felt so just depleted. And not just depleted, but it was just such an unusual feeling, like just a feeling of emptiness. So when I experienced this God shift at 12 a.m. on January the 1st, you can understand why I was just soaking in it for days, and I just did not want to leave it. Now, recently, let me talk back up a little, talk about spiritual warfare and the warfare that I was in 2024. A lot of times, spiritual warfare is not as difficult as we think it may be. A lot of times, all you need to do is to just show up. You just need to show up, partner with God, and you go from there. And a lot of the battles were not as difficult as I thought they were going to be, to overcome them and to cancel things that the enemy was trying to send from the spirit realm into the natural. A lot of times it's all about you just showing up and responding to God and partnering with him. So now, lately, God has been speaking to me again about the God shift. Now, there's a lot of things that happens in a God shift. Now, but one of them that he's been speaking to me about is our finances. Our finances. Now, when a God shift happens, this means that money that has been held up, has been held back, has been locked up, locked down from getting to you. When this God shift happens, that money is released to you. It's money that belongs to you, whether it has been held back by a demonic system, a secular system, or a man-made system. When that God shift happens, your money is released to you. It's pretty much like a shaking. Have you ever shaken a tree with fruit on, and you shake the tree and the fruit just begins to fall out? That's what I've been seeing in the spirit realm. But it hasn't been fruit. It's been like money just being released to you. Money that has been held back, and money that has been blocked from you and held up and held back and tied down somewhere is being released to you in this season because of this God shift that has taken place. So remain postured. I also talked about in the video in January when I talked about the God shift, how it was going to seem very opposite of the word of God, and it has from January up to now. It hasn't really seemed like a God shift, but it was like every time I experienced something to where things seems to be going in the opposite direction, I'll be reminded of the God shift, and then I begin to speak and declare the God shift that took place and how I am a part of the God shift. You know, I walk around my house saying I am in the God shift. I am a part of the God shift. My life has shifted. A God shift took place this year in my home, in my life. And then I will begin to see things turning around, because a lot of times we speak words or we hear words at the beginning of the year, but we don't stay with them and we don't work those words. You know, we don't stand on those words and we don't prophesy those words through the months and through the year. And so lately, you know, like I said, when things seems to be going in an opposite direction, I'm reminded of the God shift that took place at the beginning of the year. And then I find myself declaring, decreeing, and praying and confessing that God shift to areas of my life that seems to be going in the opposite direction. So I just wanted to come on here and encourage you tonight that a God shift did take place in the earth and in your life, in your home, and it is still happening. Okay, I know there's a lot of contrary things, you know, there's been a lot of resistance, a lot of, you know, warfare, but you have to speak it and you have to continue to speak it, and you have to, you know, keep the right mindset, the right mind posture that I am a part of a God shift. A shift took place in my life at the beginning of the year, and it is still happening. And you begin to speak that God shift to areas in your life that seems to be going in a total opposite direction. Okay. So I just wanted to get on here and give you that little word on tonight, and that word of encouragement that there are things that are getting ready to be released to you. There's a shaking taking place, and what belongs to you, what has been held back, whether it be money, finances, or other things, it is being released to you because you are a part of the God shift. So you all have a blessed evening on tonight.